but let's get to it. The NFC South, right? Right here. I reside in one of these spots, which is Atlanta, and interesting division. Interesting division. You got some movement, you got some additions, you got some, return customers, if you will, or repeat customers, if you will, in this division. So, Panthers, right? Carolina Panthers, the Atlanta Falcons, New Orleans Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who's going to win this division? Obviously, we know Tampa won it last year, and they had some success early in the playoffs until they ran into the Lions, who ended their season. But last year, I had the Atlanta Falcons winning this division. Obviously, I got that wrong. Who could win the division this year? Could it be Atlanta? Could it be New Orleans? Derek Carr is saying the team is 10 times better than what they previously were. Could Carolina bounce back? I mean, it's a big bounce. They were, the worst team, and they ended up giving Caleb Williams to the Bears. But and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, can they repeat? Can they get back to the promised land before? So there's some things that we got to really consider. And I'll start with the NFC South champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have It's always hard to repeat. That's one thing. But you had a guy in why am I forgetting his name already? Help me out, Mo. The quarterback, Why would I call him Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry, Baker. I apologize, but my old age. But Baker Mayfield had a really good season last year. Are you going to be expecting that repeat performance? They retained Mike Evans, so he did not go anywhere. His wife told him, "Look, we ain't going nowhere." So he was like, "I guess we're not going nowhere." He lost Devin White, or Devin White went to the Philadelphia Eagles. You got some guys coming back. You lost your OC, Dave Canales. Hopefully, I'm saying his name right, which we'll talk about him in just a moment. So you got some pieces just moving there. They traded Carlton Davis, so even on the defensive side. Look, here's what I think about Tampa Bay. Uh, Last year wasn't a fluke. They did what they were supposed to do. Uh, I just don't know if I can count on a repeat season, right? So because I think this thing is going to play out a little bit different. So I'm giving it away a little bit early as far as like one of my picks. But Baker Mayfield, back to back, can he have uh, a consistent season again? Did he find a home? Sometimes it's just like you got to find where you belong. Again, I bring up the offense. Rashad White, what is he going to be? I think in year three. Mike Evans had a heck of a year, man. Had a heck of a year last year. Uh, can you get that repeat performance out of a little bit older? I know, but I just think I do think they will be competitive. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't think they win the division. I don't think they win the division. I still think they finish above 500. I just don't think they win the division. So you got Carolina. Look, there's no way to go but up for Carolina, right? They Bryce Young was out there running for his life. So again, I mentioned Dave Canales. He's the new head coach there. So they're going to be looking at doing a new offensive system there. But then also you're looking at they added this kid Jonathan Brooks. They added this kid LeGarrette. So they got some young pieces there. They traded Brian Burns away. That's going to be something interesting to see. How they fill that spot. Uh, I just think with Carolina, they're still not there just yet, right? I think that they make some strides to get better. I think Bryce Young will play better. And Bryce Young, look, Bryce Young, people try to compare Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. There's no comparison because the situations weren't the same. CJ was not dealing with what Bryce had to deal with. So stop with that comparison, on it. the teams aren't one to say. Houston is by far way ahead of Carolina as far as like the franchise. Then we have New Orleans, right? So New Orleans, they Derek Carr, year two. What's that going to look like? Who's going to be the new number one? I think Chris Olave is going to be the new number one, or I think he was already the number one, but he's really going to solidify himself this year as the number one wide out. Can you get another year out of Alvin Kamara? Can this defense put it together with guys like Cam Jordan and Pete Werner and Marshawn Lattimore and others that's on this team? Can they put the pieces together? At the end of the day, it's really going to depend on Derek Carr. They're only going to go as far as Derek Carr can take them. We've seen what the quarterback play has done for New Orleans in the past. Taysom Hill is nice, but you need to have that quarterback that's going to be able to set the tone, and we're going to be wondering or expecting Derek Carr to be that. So according to Derek Carr, they're a lot better. So we should see a lot better. Here in the ATL, right? You got the Atlanta Falcons who has made a bunch of moves. You get Kirk Cousins, right? The drama starts with drafting Michael Penix, the future. Uh, you just recently they added Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons, so they put some additional pieces on the other end, and they revamped their wide receiver room a little bit as well. So uh, Atlanta has been, this team that if you ask Atlanta fans, they will tell you that it seems like the Falcons always find a way to lose games, right? They'll figure it out another way to lose games. I'm looking to see if those and I know what they're talking about. It's like something just happens, like bad luck. Uh, but you got this new coach in Raheem Morris, I guess a reboot, if you will. He was there, I think as a was he OC or I think he was an OC or something like that, or he was on the offensive side of the ball when he was there before previous coaching experience. So he brings in some head coaching experience. Looks like they got a plan. Uh, I like the pieces. I think the biggest thing is you that offense, right? Maximizing that offense, and that's why they went and got Kirk Cousins because they want to maximize that offense while you still got a bunch of those guys. Because Kyle Pitts is going to be up for a deal pretty soon. Drake London will be following behind him. You just drafted Bijan, but you want to try and have that nucleus together for as long as possible. To continue, that potential that this young group has. So um, expectations will be high with all the moves that they made. So in the NFC South, uh, I think Carolina still stays at 4. They do take a step up, win more games, obviously, be more competitive, but I still think it's a learning process for them. And Bryce Young at number 3, that one's kind of tough, though, right? Who can I put at 3? I'm gonna say the New Orleans Saints are gonna be at 3, with close, a very close 3, with who I have second, right? So that leaves Tampa and Atlanta once again. And if you were listening to me earlier, then you know where I'm going. Tampa is going to be number 2, which means Atlanta's. I got them. I'm going to take them again to win the division. What I said last year was that this team was talented, and Desmond Ritter didn't have to put it all on his back. But Desmond Ritter had problem after problem after problem, with situations coming on the season. That's that ultimately ended up him getting traded and them going to get Kirk Cousins. So this is an upgrade at this point. If Kirk Cousins can stay healthy, we've seen what he's been able to do with. I'm not saying Drake London is Justin Jefferson, but I'm saying with a wide receiver that can be dynamic with a dynamic tight end as Kyle Pitts is, and also just Bijan Robinson is probably going to wreak havoc this year. And then they got the help on defensive side. So Grady Jarrett, and others and company on there, especially. I know Grady Jarrett is happy with Matthew Judon there as well. So I think they get over the hump, man, and then they take this division. Mo, what you got, man? What you got?
I'm gonna say this, and it may sound a little crazy. First of
You are
all, I agree with your standings.
correct. Hmm.
Carolina is horrible. I got New Orleans at 3. I got Atlanta at 2. I got Tampa Bay at 1. But I think between Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans, I feel like those games will be separated pretty much by the head-to-head matchups. But I do feel like Atlanta and Tampa Bay, I think they got the potential to win a playoff game. As slim as it may be, but
Okay.
I think they have the potential to win the playoff game. But yeah, I think
Definitely.
those 3 teams, they could be separated by just simply the head-to-head matchups alone.
Yeah.
Carolina
Yeah.
they just go ahead and count them for at least 6 losses already. They're not beating
Oh,
either one
wow.
of these teams. Yeah, they terrible,
Okay.
man. They horrible. Horrible team.
Gotcha.
But I agree with the standings.
Okay. Look at that. Look at that. I appreciate that.